Hey guys, this is Bo back in the Sports Lounge. We want to say hello to everybody from coast to coast. We just were at Saginaw Valley State University to introduce the new head football coach of the Cardinals. And then we're going to now head all the way over to California, where it's got to be warmer than 3 degrees. And we're going to introduce the assistant coach over at CalTech, Danielle Muller. How you doing, Coach?
Great. How are you?
Good. We're staying a little warm here. What is it like there in California?
Right now, it's been raining a little bit, but it's about 50 degrees.
You got rain?
A lot warmer than 3 degrees.
Oh, I mean, what's funny is I've seen ice storms in North Carolina, and they were pretty bad as far as knocking stuff out. But you know what? It always warms up and melts. But here, they had a slushy rain. First, they had 5 inches of snow, then a slushy rain, and then it froze. And it's like I keep saying, and it's just this. It was clear days, and the kids didn't even go to school because the roads were just ice.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, it's if you're into outdoor sports, this is the place to be right now. But I understand this only happens one every 5 years. It's usually pretty warm at this time, so.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is warm? Like 20 degrees? That's still cold.
Yeah, it's definitely a big change from where I came from in Rochester, that's for sure.
Now, listen, you had a successful career in basketball. We're going to have you talk a little bit about your background, and then what brought you out to CalTech?
Okay, well, I came from University of Rochester, where I played basketball for 4 years there. We went to the Final Four my freshman year, and then the Sweet 16 my junior and senior year. We never could get past that Sweet 16, but we were very successful. I actually was in touch with the University of Chicago coach who was in our UAA conference while I was at Rochester, and he got an email from the head coach at CalTech, Sander Marba, asking if he had any basketball players that were interested in doing a grad assistantship and going on to coach and with school. So he forwarded her email to me, and I said, hey, I've always wanted to go to California, so I emailed her back. And one thing led to another, and here I am. So,
it's got to be impressive to see. I mean, I'm not sure. A lot of athletes may not appreciate everything they have accomplished in college until years later. When you were doing those runs in the tournament, did you have a chance to even breathe, or were you so fixated on practice and trying to get the win that you didn't have a chance to enjoy it?
Yeah, a little bit. It's funny because last year, at one point we were 14-0, and then we had lost one game, and we always used to say we were the most depressed 14-1 team ever. And it's just so, silly, really. It's like you really don't appreciate the games and how hard you worked, and it's just a loss is like, the end of the world to you. But now coming here, it's just it's a completely different world, and it's so much better. I mean, now I look back on my playing days, and I was like, wow, you know what? I was really lucky, and it was a great run, and I probably should have appreciated it more when I was doing it, but you were just pushed so hard to practice and win that you just kind of couldn't appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of things too is that there's a lot when you go to a university that has a per diem, a dollar point for success. It's got to drive it because the coaches are totally focused on that success. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. It's just a fact of business 101. You hire a coach with XYZ dollars, you've got to have the bottom line taken care of, which is a fact. And unfortunately, sometimes the players get caught up in it, but it's nice to look back and see what a successful, career you had. And sometimes it's got to be depressing that you didn't reach that final goal, because I know when I coached, I was either 1 game shy or 2 games shy of winning the whole thing. And, I beat myself up over it. And the kids were always like, one more game. It's like, life is about one more chance. You just got to roll with it. And it's got to be nice to bring that to the players that you have now at CalTech, where, Coach Murbit has done a fantastic job of really turning that program inch by inch to start being a major competitor. Because how many times have you heard if you have a high IQ, you can't play sports, and if you play sports, you can't have a high IQ? In CalTech, it's that medium that you're working on.
Oh, definitely. I mean, she has done an absolutely wonderful job with these girls. We actually have a game today against Claremont, and we actually beat them by 1 point last time we played them at home. So these girls are kind of really understanding now that they can do this and they can go on the road and win. They've never won an on the road conference game, and so now they know that they actually have a chance to do this, and it's theirs for the taking. So it's really unbelievable what she's done and how she's kind of changed the mindset at CalTech. You know, before people didn't even pay attention to the athletic programs, and now, I mean, the other day the stands were packed for our senior night, and it was just such a great feeling just to see these girls just smiling and talking about where they were 4 years ago till now. It's unbelievable, and I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I think another thing too that it does is that it puts in a proper perspective for you to see it, saying, I came from a successful program that we won all the time, and these girls are just happy. This team, these players you have, are happy to see the barometer change, that they're moving, that they put in perspective, and seeing that it's got to be very rewarding to see what your handiwork is and the coach's handiwork on these players.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's a freshman now on our team, Leisha Lee, and I had the team over for dinner one night, and they wanted to watch my highlight film from Rochester. So I put it in, and she comes over to me and she goes, I have a lot more respect for you now that I watched that. And she was just asking me questions about what she can do on the court and how to fix it. And it's just so nice to be able to bring something to the table there and to really coach these girls and show them, little things that they might not have even realized before. All the little ins and outs of basketball, and it's really nice because, at D3 programs, you don't get paid for athletics, so you know that these girls really want to be there. And you could just see that they actually want to be there, they want to learn, they want to get better, they want to set the standard for athletics at CalTech, and they're doing it. It's great.
Yeah, and it points on there is that there's time. I mean, when you're at a Division I program or even 1AA or so forth, you've got so much on your plate as far as where you're going, and most of the Division II and Division III players, to be honest, when I say most, like 99%, are never going to play pro ball, and they're there for the sheer fact of competing and doing something that no one else has done. And at CalTech, every single one of those players is doing something that hasn't been done there ever. That's got to be like almost winning a national championship at times.
Yeah, I mean, we this year we lost games by 30 points, but they're moral victories only because, a year ago they lost that game by 60 points. So it's a slow process, but they realize that they're moving forward with it, and it's a great feeling.